What's up, guys? It's Dr. Adam. This week I want to talk about feeding in bulldogs. And it's kind of generalized. This isn't necessarily specific just to bulldogs, but for the spirit of the bully blog, we're going to talk about feeding. So, I am a simplist. Anybody that comes in here, anybody that talks about feeding with me, I make it very simple. Like most medicine, it's all about controlling your variables. So with weight, with dietary issues, keep it simple. So the simplest thing, I start this at puppies. Create good habits. At the end of the day, all your dog needs is a good, well-rounded diet. Anything outside that, bones and treats and rawhides and table scraps, they don't need it. They like it, just like I like Taco Bell and Dairy Queen, but I don't need it. So at the end of the day, you can avoid a lot of big issues. Number one, most dogs we see are fat and overweight, and that's purely because they eat a lot more than they burn. So you have to find that simple ratio between diet and how much they burn. So if you don't have the bones and treats and rawhides and all that, and you just have your dog food, and you have your activity on the other side, but your dog's still fat, well, then drop that weight. Or get a higher fiber diet so they can eat the same amount, but it's less calories in there. Find that sweet spot. And again, I always want to feel the ribs. I always want a tapered waist, and you got it. Second issue related to feeding, I see a lot of vomiting diarrhea issues. And vomiting diarrhea most commonly is dietary indiscretion. They eat something outside their normal diet. So you can't always control this. I mean, you got the dog in the backyard that eats the wood chips and eats the grass and upsets their stomach, so be it. But control what you can. You give your dog a little piece of steak, what's going to happen? They're probably going to get pretty sick. And the best analogy here, we've domesticated dogs. They're not out in the wild killing deer and eating rabbits. They're eating a confined diet at home, and for all intents and purposes, they're almost like a vegan. So say a vegan eats a piece of meat, what's going to happen? They're going to get sick. Say a gluten-sensitive person eats a big stack of bread, they're going to get sick. So if your dog has that simple diet, and you give something outside that diet, it's Christmas and you give them a bowl of milk or ice cream, or it's their birthday and you give them a steak, they're probably going to get a bit sick. And that's preventable, guys. And the third issue, I see a lot of picky, bratty dogs. Picky, bratty is purely you've given them way too many choices. Any dog that comes in here and they say, you know, he won't eat that food, and I offer a treat and they'll eat the treat, well, they're just being picky. So keep it simple. Here's your food. This is what you're going to get. Now, this is where our empathy kicks in and we start to feel bad and go, God, I'd get tired of eating the same thing all the time. Well, empathy gets you in trouble, and empathy is also going to bring you a lot of vets. And I know that seems cold, but when it comes to feeding, their food meets all their nutritional requirements. So it's no different than you and I going, we eat all our core things throughout the day, but then you're like, yeah, but I really like ice cream, and I really like that big load of ketchup and ranch dressing, whatever. The point is, simplify your variables. At the end of the day, if your dog gets a good, well-rounded dog food, you'll meet all the nutritional requirements. Now within that, say you're on a great diet, but your dog keeps getting ear infections and we suspect a food allergy, or your dog keeps having diarrhea and we suspect a food intolerance, then we may have to play around with that primary diet. But again, those are two separate issues. Keep things simple, and as I always say, you're going to avoid a lot of issues coming to the vet. Hopefully that helps, guys. Keep checking in. I love doing this.